Derivatives trading involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. Good morning. Oh man, I hope the sound. I better check my video afterwards. Anyways, I'm liking just sitting here. I'm really liking this this 15.5 right here. If they give it to me. So we're just looking at the profile. We had a pretty big move yesterday. It went well beyond what we expected, and it's already coming back down to like half. So I actually, there's this 14 here. Actually wondering if they can okay. Well, I'm okay with the way that I got filled. But we might get a little bit of a move up here on the open. Like I'm wondering if they're going to take the single print at 14, and then they could bounce. But I think there's a high probability of them hitting that area and turning around. So, and just the way that the 15 was acting, that was looking like people were having a hard time getting fills there. You can actually see that there's been a little bit of iceberging there. So so yeah, I think that's good. The E-mini is still looks good, which is where it gets interesting, right? Like they're going to be opening up and eyeing all-time highs. I think it's just crazy. So I don't have one that goes back far enough for. I'm just going to have to add a new one. Futures. Yes. On a day chart. Oops. Okay. I'm just going to take the one tick off of it, since they're not pushing through. Oh, we don't need tick replay on daily chart. So if I do 5-day, will it 5-minute? It just doesn't like me. Well, I guess we get some links. Let's do that. Okay. One day. No, 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 no. Normally shouldn't take that long to get data. Not sure what the problem is. There we go. Okay, so the all-time high is 2880. Okay, it did go. Okay, fix that. Oh, no, I took 15 half and took 16. So it didn't go, it just kind of... Oh, how come I don't have the profit? There we go. Okay, good deal. Bada boom. So it was 15 half and 16. So I'm still not getting more than that one tick. They are ticking into 16 half. Is there one that shows me like the high of the chart? around 28.7825.
Russian foreign minister asked about UK call for EU sanctions on Moscow. Says Britain has higher an opinion.
Okay. I really need to look at the 5-year as well. 26.
And just a heads up, in under 10 minutes time we will get the release of Canadian wholesale trade sales month on month for June. Looking for estimates of spot 7% against a prior of 1.2%. Just on that print, looking at the range from the economist looking into the data, we've got a range of minus spot 4%, 2%.
30.
More geopolitical news here from Russia. Lavrov says Britain
Whoa, JP Morgan to unveil new investing app with an eye-catching disruptive price free. So it's like Robinhood, but made by JP Morgan. Oh, 100 or more commission-free online stock and ETF trades, and $2.95 after. Well, $2.95 is not bad, but oh yes, we have the Jackson Hole thing coming up here. Trump's attack on Fed crossed the red line for markets could weaken dollar. So here's the thing about that, since this is very, very pertinent to bonds. It's really interesting because he's right, isn't he? Like, everybody is keeping rates low. The Federal Reserve is the only one that seems to be super concerned about normalizing the rates. Japan and the EU aren't moving it. And given, the things that have been happening in the trade wars and stuff like that, it looks like he's how do I say? It looks like the Federal Reserve is going to have to hold off on raising rates. So like, it's not only is he right, but like the Federal Reserve is probably going to do what he's saying exactly for the reasons that he's saying it. Not because he said it, but just because that's the way that the data is. It seems to me that he actually has a pretty good handle on rates. And everybody's trying to complain about it, but it's actually like, I don't know, it's kind of funny. So on the open here, we're seeing some iceberging into 15.5 and it being absorbed. So let's watch this 14. You might see a really crazy strong bounce there. Now you called China and the EU currency manipulators. Dollar heads lower. Oh yes, I can definitely see the move in JPY. My Bitcoin had a dip and a recovery. That's kind of interesting. Let's see what this says.
Just a heads up, in under 3 minutes, we do get the release of that Canadian wholesale trade sales month-on-month figure for June. Looking for an estimate of 7%.
Crypto watch isn't drawing bars correctly. That's funny. There we go. Fixed it. So what happened? There was a dip late in the day, and it bottomed out at 62.50, and they immediately bought back up, and now sellers are making an attempt again. Futures Steiger, yes. Well, so I'm trading with my simulated account right now. I have a live account, but I'm not using it right now. So we need to, I think the plan is going to be let August start, see what our performance is for August. Hopefully it's a little bit better, but I know that I do poorly in slow and in the summer.
Some of the US online brokers shares trading down pre-market, likes of Ameritrade trading
I
down
bet.
5%, and Charles Schwab trading just down over 3%.
JP Morgan is going to cause quite a disruption there. Anyways, we'll give it, a month and see what the performance is, and then if it's good, then I might put some more money in it and scrounge up some cash and put some more in. But it may be until January, February that I start trading live again, unfortunately. What do I do for a living? I'm a software engineer. I program. Well, it's a little curious the way that they went down and touched that 14.5, but then they're not going for the 14.
10 seconds. Minus spot 8%. Some revisions on that. The prior has been revised down spot 9% from a prior of 1 spot 2%. Just to repeat that, that's Canadian wholesale trade sales month on month for June. Figure coming in at minus spot 8%, and the prior being revised down to spot 9% from 1 spot 2.
Time level. Assistant. Manufacturing. Manufacturing for X30. I'm
a little concerned that this is just going to pop up here and without me. But I really wanted to see them test that 14 first, so if they go there, they go there, I guess. So how did I get into trading was like, there's going to be a lot of news coming through here, so hold on. It was really the 2008 financial crisis was when I started trading. So, and I've tried writing some automated strategies, but surprisingly, none of the strategies that I've written were as good as just doing this discretionary with the order flow. So I have a couple that were like promising, and like you looked at certain periods and they looked really, really good, but then when you did it over a longer time period, it didn't really make sense. It was like I found something that worked really well for that one market regime, and then the market changes and it doesn't do well at all. So but I got into it during the 2008 crisis, and then I was so into finance that when I graduated, and I kind of wish that I had done business so that I could have just become a trader, but so instead I went into technology at one of the big banks. So I worked for Goldman Sachs for 6 years, and when I was there, I would talk to traders. It wasn't very often because they were in New York and we were in Salt Lake, but one time when I was visiting New York, I got a chance to talk to one, and they told me to pull up a DOM and look at Treasuries. So when I left them, that's what I started doing. And it's been about almost 2 years. In October, it'll be 2 years. But still rough. And I've had some periods of profitability, like it did really, really good from January to about mid-April, and then since then it's just been the disaster. So we'll see if I'm able to move on here. I don't know. They got a pretty good boost there. There we go. Okay. I was going to say, it seems weird that they're not going for the 17 yet. But there they just did it. Now there's another significant pivot at 17, so here comes 17.5. Yeah, okay. So I think you're going to see a lot of profit taking here at 17.5.
In US equities, there's trading up currently. Well, investing and at a disruptive price of. That's one of the main.
Have I ever tried Forex? No, I've not. Now, I personally wouldn't recommend Forex just because, you know, in futures, I can see the orders, you know. I can see, for instance, I think it's really important here that not a whole lot traded here at 16, but more traded at 17, and even more is trading at 17.5. So probably there are some guys taking profits at the very least. And maybe there are people going short, I don't know. They might still be a little disappointed they didn't touch 14, but they don't have to touch it. It's still bullish. In Forex, you can't see that. So it's like, you know, what would happen if we popped up 4 contracts and like barely any volume traded there, and then at the top there was a ton of absorption? Then I might be thinking, you know, that's fishy. It looks like somebody may have pulled some offers to try and trick us. And in Forex, you could have something like that happening and you would never know it. Ooh. Okay, so there's a big iceberg there at 17, but they blew right through it. Let's reset things. Well, we're not really seeing many targets placed above us. Like yesterday, we were at that 21 was significant. That 22 is significant. We might get another tick up and we might see something at 22.5, but it doesn't look like people are really have targets to take profits up here, whereas on the buy side they do. So somebody was asking me about, keeping your composure when you're in a trade. Because the thing that I think is weird about me is that I feel like my signals in my brain are off kilter now. Like when it would normally be like freaking out, or don't freak out anymore. And vice versa. There are times when I should be scared and I'm not. And they were talking about, well, if you're trading a live account, that kind of creates some pressure on you. Even if you're trading a combine, that kind of puts some pressure on you. But one of the things that I found is that it seems to me that what creates the pressure, and the thing that you really got to avoid, is the ego. It's like you don't want to be wrong. The human brain, for some reason, is just really terrified of being wrong. And not just being wrong, but being wrong and everybody knowing it, So I think something that helps is even if you come into the Discord channel and you just post what your trade is. Because if you fail, everybody knows. Even if it's just on a combine. And I think that the ego is more pressure than the money sometimes. Of course, with the money, it's it just puts your ego on the line even more. But I think that's kind of the trick. Is at some point not caring what other people think. That's also a big one. Is like it's really useful. Don't get me wrong. It's really useful to come into chat and hear what trades other people are making and their observations on the market. But it's really easy to let that influence you and to make you want to follow somebody else's trade. Like, oh well, I was kind of thinking about going short, but this guy, he already took it, and maybe I should be taking it now. And the key milestone, I think, to get over trading is when you get to the point where it's like, okay, it's interesting to know that this guy is trading this way, and this is the way that he tends to do it, but I don't really care that he took a trade there, because that's not my strategy. Boom, 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 boom. Well, they did kind of pivot. I'm wondering that I think that you're gonna get like this, push down and make a higher low, but it's gonna be like super obvious right now that might be what happened because we made a higher high. So we might get a little bit of shenanigans,
Earlier news providing a bit more colour. Glaxo is said to see data in September for 4.3 billion Indian unit.
Oh, okay, so some other questions here by Future Stinger.
Said to draw Nestle, Pepsi,
Tiger, Futures Tiger. What broker do you use? So I'm using AMP Futures, and I'm using AMP Futures because they allow you like the smallest initial deposit, and they don't penalize you for not trading the account, so you can just get data and trade sim. Is the great thing about them. You're probably better on commissions with like Trade08, but yeah, I don't think much people fear while trading. Really? Maybe it's just been the market as of late, but it seems like every time that I get into a trade and it gets to like that +3, +4, I'm like super concerned that it's not going to get filled. And then when it does get filled, I'm like, oh, it was good for more. You should watch Dope Trades. Oh wow! And is that on Twitch? So I've searched through for people on Twitch and I've never run across that. But what is he trading? He trading the E-mini, I'm guessing. Oh, and the platform is Jigsaw. Man, I really like my Jigsaw DOM. I use Jigsaw, and then I still use NinjaTrader, although Pete was saying that the guy that makes Jigsaw was saying that they're adding some features that might be able to let me ditch NinjaTrader. Oh, he trades oil. There you go. Oil, E-mini, and NQ. I bet they're 2K every stream. That's interesting. You can definitely make money trading oil, but it's not for me. Maybe at some point I should go back over and try trading oil for a week. But when I was trading it before, oh man, it was so awful. I was so bad at it. I'd get positioned exactly the wrong way, and then they'd just plow right through you. And you get all the slippage and stuff. Oh, you can lose a lot of money trading oil. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, well, it's been in this range for a while. I'm not seeing too much change in the level 2. Although it is telling me that the bid is a little bit stronger. I'm not sure if that's just because of the inside bid or what. That E-mini's got a bunch of white up above us. This is kind of interesting. Here we're gonna, so if we might end the opening range here. So if we do, that's 2, 4, 6 ticks total. Yeah, Uzi says don't trade Forex. Uzi's in the YouTube chat. If you think the odds are bad in futures, they're far worse in Forex. Oh, and he says, like, I couldn't do what you do. The one thing that messes with my head with making it public is, like, you make a trade and you're wrong like a bunch of times in a row. And you're just yourself and you're on sim. It's like, well, you know, of course I'm just being dumb and doing exactly the wrong thing. But when you're streaming it, and especially when you're doing something that was like working really well before and all of a sudden it's not working, you start to do the conspiracy theories in your head. And it's just normal human thing. I don't think people realize how much your brain works to try and not be wrong about something. And the thing is if it's something that's like core to your beliefs. So, like, you know, your view of the markets, for instance, when something comes along that doesn't fit in line with that, you're going to rationalize it away. That's your first thought is always going to be that. Always. You just pay attention to it. You see something, your first thought is going to be, well, maybe it's this. And then maybe the more rational parts of your brain come in and start giving alternative explanations. Like, oh, okay, well, what was working before was working because we were in a it was a different market. Something like that. I'm trading the signal wrong. Instead of just like, they're out to get me. Okay, well, there was quite a bit of size there at 18, and now it's pretty much gone. So I'm curious to see if we tick back down, does it thicken back up? It's only 800. And I don't think that somebody's just going to come and block by 5K there. I could be wrong, but... Okay. So when they take down, it did stack a little bit.
Belgium can confidence coming in. Try out. Energy getting some. Gasoline output. Refinery out. 11 spot. As President Trump moves to place Obama's clean power plan curbs on hearing that US Trump moves to clean curbs.
Yeah, this is kind of the slow period for sure. I'm going to watch the next 15 minutes. If I don't see something really good, I will go and refill my water and so forth. And then... because this 7 o'clock to 7:30 time period seems to be when I screw myself over. Boom, boom, boom. I love it. Somebody's like, can anyone care to explain to me how Venezuela got into this awful situation? And the quick answer is just socialism. I wonder what was John's notes for today. He was saying I think they could trade lower. He mentions the single prints. The single print above us is at 20. But what is the bull bear zone? 145.06 to 145.10. So we're kind of still in the battle area, aren't we? They came back to it and have to trade through 10. I don't know. See, here in ZB, there's enough of a at like 09, you know? Maybe they want to distribute like that, but in the 10-year, it's very disorganized at the moment. China's biggest risk, maybe its property market? Yeah. I've been hearing that one for years, though. Well, the E-mini is starting to do stuff, and they are kind of selling it a little bit. You see that little volume spike down there?
Brexit update. EU's Barnier to brief press at 5:15 in Brussels.
If we wanted to go along again, we could possibly do it at 17. But find it curious that when we ticked up there that last time at 18, that you got all of this stuff above it at like 20 and 19.5. It's a little weird, and it did it in the 30-year too. Well, I wouldn't say it means anything, but it's something that I haven't quite seen in that context before. I don't know. We could trade back up to 14 in ZB. Be 19 in the 10. We're awfully close.
Heads up ahead of the US Cash Equity Open. Our US Cash Equity is
Hmm. I'm kind of curious. The 10-year reaching up there, but the 5-year back a little bit. So the 5-year peaked at 25. It's down. Yeah, this is exactly what I'm talking about. In the past 17 minutes, most you could have gotten was two ticks. Okay, there's our spreader back. Is there more to this spread somewhere? Now, UB doesn't look unusual. ZT is kind of being a little... It does look a little odd. Hmm. Slowest 10 minutes ever. Well, I'm gonna go get some water. Okay, well, this spread trade is still there. Oh wait, I forgot my wiring. Okay. So like it's there. It actually moved up a couple of times. When it did that, I'm wondering if that was this NCB. Spreader's paradise. The thing is I don't remember. Did this happen last time? Was it we're going along? Because we've seen this 3 or 4 times, and I remember it being like, you know, different contexts, and it not being able to tell what they were being able to do. Hmm.
In effect, we're just seeing cable come into zero.
Okay, moved down. So when that happened, did the spread change? I need to have ZBZF on there. Did it pull? It's kind of hard to tell from the Vista chart what happened first, if the thing moved down or if it ticked, or if it all happened all at once. It's kind of just happening all at once. So there's the E-mini. It looks like there was a bunch of orders set up for the open. And that big spike. But the buyers won out. I think it's going to push us lower. Okay, so they traded up into 16.5 and a ton of volume. So it's not really a spot that I can or should go long. I'm sorry, short. We're taking a trade, period. You're looking more 15.5 and 17.5. Right? Yeah, because we did touch 18.5. So there's the E-mini going for highs. Boom. That was a very nice move right there. So they're trading into the 23.5 now. They're selling it hard.
Weird news now. Beijing. Difficult gestures.
Possible short there. I'm still not quite seeing my spot. And the problem is you still have, I mean, it looks really negative to me at the moment. But you still have like this higher low thing where they could touch 15 and bounce. Or frankly, they could bounce right here. You could go long into 16 and have your risk be 15.5. Or your risk be 14.5. Like take 3 ticks risk here. The assumption that it's gonna bounce there. But this big thing is still here, and that's been making us move down. Well, I wouldn't say it's been making us move down, but since it showed up, we've been moving down. Yeah. There's another down tick. I'm interested to see what this 15 does. Stacked a little bit. Hold. 6. Yeah, okay. So you could take it along there. I don't know if I want to take it long as this is here. And 31 is stacking up a little in the 30-year. Some people expecting it to break the lows. Okay. Well, they're really pulling at 15 now. probably going to go through now. That volume is just not pulling away, or is just not staying. The sellers are just pulling out of the way. What are they saying in Discord? I'm wondering, with that big order, something I'm noticing is that it ticked up. You notice it kind of flickered up, but it never stayed there. But then when it's pulled down, it's gone. So as soon as it's sold here, so what's the best price that you could have gotten? Maybe 17. So I guess you could have sold 17. That's still 3 ticks of risk. So that's the way I should have played that one. So if I see that again, I'm gonna try and do that. Just wait for it to tick and stay. And if it's 3 ticks from where it was. Yeah. Might not even give it to us. Well, let's see if this stop limit works like it has in the past. Okay. Well, they pulled and only 600 has gone through there, and they're going down. Oops, I changed my password a while ago, and it's not. We're really pulled. The 14 is not pulling. We need to look here. What is 12 half is fine. 12 half 12. Yeah. Okay, now is this 7 gonna hold? Ooh. I don't know. There you go. See him adding and removing 100 there. When it starts doing this, this is the kind of situation where Tyler might come in and just sell the whole thing. Yeah, okay.
I think I'm gonna buy the hand. So once they balance partnership.
Well, it's still kind of stacking here.
Block sell.
There it is. Man, did I call that one or what? I think this one I just need to take my hands off now because even if it comes back to 14 half, it's should be really unlikely to go past. I mean, it could come back to the 14 half, but it should be very unlikely to get through 15 half. So.
Tech company sanctions.
Well, E-mini is on a run, but it's still quite a ways for the high. So I don't like seeing this 7 showing up again. Sometimes it happens though, like you just get a bunch of buy liquidity below us as people take profits. I don't know. I would like to see more than 354 go into it, that's for sure. What has ZT been doing through all this, by the way? Oh, ZT sold hard. See that? Now ZT is looking at its lows. And the 26 3/4 is pulling. And that would be hilarious if Tesla got bought out by Apple. Slightly disturbing, but it would be mostly funny, I think. Okay. So it appears, at least for the moment, that the pressure is not following through. This kind of happened to me last time. I did this. So what I need to do is I need to get out and look for the reshort. Okay. I mean, I could regret doing that. Let's see. I think that the E-mini is going to come back a little bit here, though. Okay. I'm regretting it, guys. I mean, I think I still really need to optimize this. I think I have the right idea, though. It's just, I know there always seems to be this pullback sort of a thing. At some point, it's going to come back here. Where you continually see this 7. This is also one of those situations where, say, you gotta be careful about trying to fade that. Well, they're not offering a lot. They're at 13.5. You can see the whole book is thicker now, too.
Block sell.
Oh, jeez. ZB is crazy. Okay. So that one was more significant. That was 3. Be careful. It was a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Michael Pledger, do you trade options? Well, I don't know if you're still listening, but I've messed around with options, but I don't regularly trade them. I tried doing a simulated trade shorting Facebook, and I picked the wrong expiration, so I wasn't able to take advantage of the big drop in Facebook. But I kind of had it right. I don't know. So while I'm thinking about it, here's the options trade that I'm thinking about right now. Is buying Tesla, like call spreads of some sort on Tesla. I mean, you want to get it cheap, because the way that I look at it, I always try and get like a 1-to-3, 1-to-4 ratio if I can, based on where I think it's going to go on the technicals. But the reason I say you buy Tesla is because I think at this point he's been so crazy. I mean, really, I was not a fan of Elon Musk, and then he kind of started doing a bunch of conservative political things, and you know, a lot of people that I know started liking him because of that, and I was still kind of skeptical because it just seems a little erratic to me, you know. Well, and now recently it's just off his rocker, you know, like the SEC is going to hit him, absolutely. So I think at some point there is a high probability that he's going to resign. He's going to say, well, I think it's the best thing for the health of the company is for me to retain my big stake in everything, but give the CEO position to somebody else. When that happens, well, then you have to call a really good CEO, of course, but I'm hoping, well, I'm not hoping, but I think that there's a good chance that Tesla's been beaten up so bad just from Musk being in there that at that point it would be a buy. So he becomes CEO and then he buys. The question is just how do you catch a falling knife? You know what I mean? But it's there. So okay, so there's 3 off, 3 tick pullback and 30 on the 30-year. 144.30 is a 3 tick pullback. So we didn't trade 26. It's unfinished at 26. So I think we're going to get a 4 tick pullback, and then we're going to turn around again. Vice versa over here, you should see this tick to 14.5 again. Kind of interesting thing going on here where we've come back, I'd say pretty significantly, and it kind of reminds me of what was happening up here where, you know, there's a lot of liquidity, of course, but nothing's really moving around, you know? I guess that could be just because people are taking trades at every price now. So there's 50. So this is the move that I was worried about when I took my profit. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. See, it's really hard to do it too. So I took 14.5. If I had left my profit target at 12.5, I would not have gotten filled. I would have thought that I was about to get filled, but I would not have gotten filled.
EpiPens. Response of pen shortage.
Like, I think that what would have happened is it would have been here, and maybe I would have been lucky enough to have gotten out at 13.5, and maybe if I was unlucky, I would have gotten out at 14.5. So taking the one tick off of that was maybe not a bad idea. Maybe in those you need to take +3. I mean, if I had taken +3, I think I would have gotten filled on a break. +3 on a break. Yeah, a jack is a good point too. Because normally I would have taken it at 15. I don't know if I would have gotten filled at 15 though, so I didn't actually see an active level break there. I have to say though that one edge that seems to be one of the more consistent things that I've seen is that you watch the uptick and the downtick, and you see what happens when they uptick and they downtick. Because when you've got one of those that wants to hold, you know, like here at the low, they would downtick and it would stack. And that's not what happened. They downticked and like 2,000 pulled. And then as soon as it gets hit, even more pulled. Versus, you know, when they start hitting it, that just makes people want to go long there, you know? You can kind of read. It's not as simple as, oh, there's 7,300 on there. They stacked or they pulled. It's kind of like, as it ticks and as the orders come in, what does it do? But you're right, you sell one tick above the low. I don't know if that one would have filled. I didn't see the level break trade that time. Really on this one, the trade was when that spreader came up and you sell it, right? But I did not act fast enough on that one. But that was worth a lot, right? That was worth from 17. So could have potentially have gotten 8 from that. I took 1. I wonder if anything is happening on Twitter.
Equity news. Access.
Hmm. Okay, so that was the pullback. I don't like that either. You want to see it tick. You want to see them snack on the offer. You want to see people immediately hitting 13. The level 2 slowly flipping. And they start selling through 13. Then they trade down, they stack, etc. You get this sort of a thing. They sell into it. They stack 200, but immediately it gets popped back up. And now somebody is iceberging at 13.5. That's kind of more... We can't make a trade-off with that.
Price in at minus spider as well. Price in 6%. This was a prior of flat reading. Prior of percent.
It's funny that I'm still looking for a higher low. Like when we came down, I was like, well, we could get a higher low. And then they ticked through it. And then I saw the pulling. I was like, okay, they're going to go through this one. So they got through it. And that was what, 14.5? So they got through it for 4 ticks. Now they come back up. They actually touched 15, which was more than I expected. So now I'm still looking for a higher low at 13.5, 13. I don't know if they're going to give it to us. And if they do give it to us, I don't know if I'm going to want to take it.
Whirlpools. There.
Tick up. See that trade up was, well, at least one went through. I can't really get a read on this 13 if it would hold if they attacked it. One thing I do see is that the 5-year has almost completely come back in terms of volume. No, I see we have somebody from Brazil in the YouTube chat. Hi, Gabriel. Fortunately, I don't speak Portuguese. Okay, well, I don't know if want to take another trade. It's kind of funny. I've been getting done earlier and earlier, but you often do get this 8 to 8:30 move, but I'm just not really getting it. You could have bought 13, but like you could justify the 13.5 there. You'd be a tick in. I don't know if it's gonna go to 15.5 though. Hi. I wish I had gotten more than one tick out of that one trade, but it's okay. Like we're range. I mean, it's still. The funny thing is even though that was a pretty good move, it is moving pretty good. It's still kind of giving me some reaction, you know. There's a lot of like it being kind of random and places where they should be going and they're not. It still seems to me like there's not a lot of participants trading. And so let me post the charts to Patreon here for Bitcoin. It's a pretty good move back up, but I don't know if that's gonna hold. Pull that back up. Yep. And then I will review trades.
not change.
Okay, well, still in the same spot, and I'm not really seeing a clear. If it gets back up to like 15.5, then this says like that could possibly hold. But other than that, it's really hard to say. ZB is still kind of sitting in its like pullback area. It's just doing a 4-tick chop zone, so I'm not gonna mess with it. But you know, just based on the cumulative delta is all short, I think that you might have a bit of a buy coming into the close. I think that you might get something like here to here buy or something. I don't know. It's kind of hard to say because of the timing. But those London traders are going to have to close their shorts at some point. Okay. So trades. So it took 2. Okay, so here was the buy. Okay, so I followed my plan. React well to market behavior. Yes. Did I? I mean, I think it was... Where did I buy? This particular screen doesn't show me where about at. 15.5. Yes. So I did react well to the market behavior because I got out at +1 when it was gonna go against me. Though I feel like that there was a little bit of missed opportunity on that one, because I should have, if I show you the chart here, so I took that like right here, somewhere at the beginning of the day, like 6. So I got the one take, and then it went against me too. Then when it started and it got back up there, probably could have bought, but you know, I would have to have taken 15.5 again. So I missed that one. And then this one, the sell, you know what? I need to do something. I need to do trade type. So I really need to keep track of this one. Create stop in. That's what we're gonna call it. Okay. Buy. Oops, that was the sell one that I want to look at. So this one is a stop in. Okay, did not quite reach. So I think this one, like I was okay with it when I got the +1. I think it was a good trade, but I felt like I was following my plan. Yes. But I'm not going to say I reacted super great to the market behavior, because I was not quite doing what I wanted to do, but I felt good at the time of entry and at the time of exit, so yeah. So that one was pretty good. Alright, well, that's all I got for today, guys. I'm not going to blab too much. It's still, you know, it's interesting that we're getting this much movement, because we don't really have much news until tomorrow. So yeah. Anyways, I will catch you tomorrow.